Hey everybody, Jabman025 here. Today I'm taking a look at my 91st Master Grade, the Marasai, from the series Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, and later, Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. Now, I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. I have never been a huge fan of the Marasai. I kind of picked this kit up because the kit itself kind of grew on me. One of the reasons I never really liked the color scheme. I never really liked the red and orange look. So I decided to do a repaint on this kit. I decided to do the Gundam Unicorn colors, which is greens and orange. Here you see the red becomes a dark green. I decided to do this entire thing by hand. I did kind of cheat in the fact that I used a spray can primer, but everything else is done by hand. The paints I used are polyscale paint, in this case a Pullman green. This is primarily used on model railroads. These paints come out great for color. The colors are excellent. The kicker being it takes several coats and it's kind of easy to scratch and screw up the paint job. So I have to be very careful with this guy and how I pose him. But the paints really do look good. Now for the light orange, I repainted that as well into a lighter green. Again, the same polyscale paint. And like I said, I primed the whole thing white before I painted it. But there is a fair bit of painting to do. And like I said, the whole thing was done by hand, so this took some time. This paint, like I said, is good, but it takes several coats to do. If you're curious, in this case it is Reading Green. Reading Railroad. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Anywho, this kit also has cables, like the old Zaku cables, and individual links, which I'm not a fan of. What you gonna do? What I did for this, I cut up the part tree, which is that teal color, and that's what the cables originally were, and then repainted them as so into that orange is what they need to be. Now when I cut that away from the tree later, I had to fix and clean up the nubs and do a little bit of extra painting, but this worked out pretty well. But I will go ahead and say this now, there's a lot of bad nubs on this kit. They're all over the place. You can't really see them on my kit because I've repainted them, but what you gonna do? Now, the inner frame on this kit is a really cool and detailed inner frame. This kit really does feel like a 2.0 kit. It's not, but it is, sort of. For those of you who've been in Gunpla a long time, you remember way back when they had a Marasai Master Grade announced. They even showed us pictures of it, but we never got a release date, and it never came out. So somewhere in the bowels of Bandai, there is an original 1.0 Marasai that we never got. This is kind of like the 2.0. Now, they do give you a really neat light piping system on this kit. You see the clear section below hooks right into the eye. And if you have an LED, you can hook it into the bottom section and have the mono eye light up. And that looks really cool. This is one of those times where I really do recommend you get an LED. It does not come with the kit, so if you have one lying around or you have to buy one separately, I highly recommend you pick it up. This is a excellent addition to this kit because the mono eye really does look cool glowing. See, it's attached down below there, and you're going to set this whole section up on the head. Now, the mono eye will move, but not unless you take off this top section and that little dial there. If you twist, the mono eye will move. On the right-hand side, we have this shield here, which is on the right hand. This is freely posable. We'll move side to side, up and down. It's on a ball joint, and each individual section of the shield will move as you see fit. So, no real problems there. Lots of posability, lots of options. Now, the hands on this kit are, once again, the interchangeable fingers. I think I can hear a few of you booing now. They give you the fist, the grip hand, and the trigger finger hand. Now they also give you a separate hand here, which is the return of the long-lost 2.0 hand. Sort of. Each individual finger is articulated, each individual can bend. The thumb is kind of locked in place. The problem there being is this hand isn't really good for holding anything. Can't really do much with it. This is kind of like a new version of the open style hand, so you can create different poses with it. Rock on. But Again, it's pretty much there for display, not really good to hold anything. On the legs on this kit, again, really good inner frame. Decent bend out of the knee. When we get some skirt armor in there, it will hamper a bit. And the ankles are on an excellent ball joint. Tons of posability on the ankles, which is good because posability is a little iffy on this kit, but the ankles make things better. See, big old giant skirt armor on this guy. You don't see really big skirt armor anymore these days. You have these vents on the leg. Each one of these flaps is posable a little bit. You can move them side to side. The front panel will get out of the way, so excellent ankles and feet on this kit. Lots and lots of posability that way. Now up there on the skirt armor, it does hamper things a bit. You can still get pretty good poses out of this. See, there's a little piece on the back there that I have a gap in. I think that's mainly due to my paint job. I think if you just bought this and built it straight, you wouldn't have that problem, but on my kit it does that. But, like I said, skirt armor hampers things a little bit. It does get out of the way for the most part, but you don't get a ton of posability out of these legs, but still pretty good. And you can dance a little jig too. See the full kit assembled. The left arm has those spikes on it. No real posability problems there. And you can see full 360 look around. I went ahead and painted the thrusters on the back silver. And oddly enough, you have this back camera here. It comes as a clear piece. Should be green, and there's no sticker for it, which is odd. So you actually have a little bit of painting to do. Green or clear green looks better there. Looks real nice. Looks good. Now I decided to do a tiny bit of weathering to this kit. The idea behind it is, if I'm doing the Gundam UC colors, this Marasai is actually almost a decade-old mobile suit, so no matter how good of a job the Zeon remnants are doing keeping this in shape, they're not going to be perfect. So, weathered it up a little, give it a few nicks and cuts, nothing really heavy, because I think I got the paint job just about perfect this time, so I didn't want to mess with it too much. Now, what I did to get this effect, use some weathering markers, in specific the sand color and the rust color. Again, not a lot. You can barely even notice it's there. I also use this paint pen, a metallic silver. That's where I painted just some edges to look like paint is flaking away. And my old standby smoke. Give just a little grit and grime to it. Again, very light on this one. Not a big weathering job, just a little bit. Now, accessories on this kit. We don't get much. 2 beam sabers. Really big handles on this thing. You don't see many big-handled beam sabers anymore. Again, I repainted them. 2 yellow blades. You can store them both, if you so desire, under the shield here. You can obviously hold it. Yellow blade. No problem holding this at all. The gripper hand does an excellent job. Not a problem. The beam rifle. Okay, we got a problem here. Again, I just repainted this. I kind of went nuts with the beam rifle. Did whatever I thought was neat. The trigger finger hand doesn't do a very good job of holding this at all. It doesn't really drop it, but you can see getting it to hold it straight is frustrating as all heck. So if you're going to do a lot of poses with this thing, use the beam rifles. The beam sabers, pardon me. Now they give you these extra parts here. If you are one of the few people who actually have the Hyakushiki with balut system, you can use these parts to connect the balut onto the Marasai here. Now, they recently announced they're going to be selling the balut system by itself, so if you want to pick that up later and add it on, there you go. Decals on this kit are kind of bland. In fact, this is only the second Master Grade I've ever had where I didn't use any decals. A lot of the reason is they give you a lot of decals that are related to the Titans, that are related to either Kakrakan or Jared, and obviously since the UC, none of those apply, so I decided no decals, we'll just leave it alone. Action-based attachments, they give you the standard one that connects into the crotch, and they give you this big old thing. Now, this big old sucker attaches onto the back of the Marasai. If you have the balut system, it works just as well with it or without it, doesn't really matter. It is on this sliding track here, so you can put it at all sorts of different angles. and it attaches into the back of the backpack. Two little flaps open and those plugs connect right in there. Now, if you're going to do the standard straight ahead pose, this really doesn't help that much. In fact, it makes it kind of front heavy. So if you're going to do the standard straight up and down pose, just use the connection that goes onto the crotch section and don't even worry about it. But this does allow you to do some oddball poses, like laying flat, upside down, oddball angles, all sorts of crazy stuff. So if you want the Marasai, floating in an oddball direction or coming in at a really weird angle for a kit, it can do that. Final thoughts on this kit. Truthfully, guys, this kit came down to good, but nothing spectacular. There are a couple problems with this kit. Like I said, some bad nubs. The beam rifle that it comes with sucks. And the decals aren't anything really to write home about. There's no major glaring, oh my god, this is a horrible issue outside of that beam rifle. A lot of people have said this is one of their holy grail kits. For you guys, pick it up. You'll be happy. You'll be satisfied. You'll love that it's in your collection. For everybody else, it's a maybe get, maybe not. It's up to you. If you don't want it, you're not missing a whole lot. If you want it, pick it up. Good kit. Still gets a thumbs up from me because I'm happy I got it. Well, gang, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it informative. If you got any questions, please ask them. I'll answer them the best I can. Please leave a comment. You guys know I love reading them. Let me know what you think of the custom recolor I did. I'm really happy with the results. I think I came out as one of my best recolors yet. But let me know what you guys think. See you next time, guys. Oh, and one more thing. So you attacked a military facility with a decade-old mobile suit. Zig-Zion! That's not a valid argument for anything. Zig-Zion! Seriously, that's all you're going to say. Zig-Zion!